Hello everyone, Josh here with Anime Impact. Guys, today I want to talk about a very, I guess you could say controversial topic, and that is vendors. What are vendors? What can vendors provide for you? Is the service worth the risk for reward? Any other questions that some of you may have, I'm here to address. I want to talk about it, and this is more geared towards my Dokkan Battle community. I'm sorry, my Duel Links community, because it is the main kind of attraction of my channel, and therefore I want to do a big discussion video involving this before I bring any kind of future content or anything like that to you guys involving such services. I really want to get your guys' opinion and kind of your take on the matter before we do anything like that, anything drastic like that on the main part of my channel. Now, as you know, I've been playing Dokkan Battle on Digimon Links lately, and I've been using vendors. Vendors are very, very extremely helpful to help you provide content or even to play personally on sort of a pay-to-win but less pay-to-win level, because you are indeed paying, but you're paying a lot less. You're paying a less premium than you normally would. And those kind of things could really lead you to really, sinking a lot of money into a game that you may never even fully get satisfied from. You may never get anything from it, because of course it's all just a digital product in the end. Therefore, when the game ends and it finally gets shut down, they bring out another game, you are now in the hole for a lot of money if you went hard into that game. Especially if you love and support the game, then that's completely fine. Of course, you are getting your enjoyment value at the very least out of it, but is that really enough? So the question I really have for a lot of you Duel Link players is, if I was able to set up a deal with a very respectable person or persons that could provide our channel and our community with the means to get discounted packs on Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, how many of you would actually be interested? Now, I will be discussing the good and the bad aspects to vendoring, kind of the inner workings, how some of them approach it in a good way and a bad way. We're going to kind of cover a lot of the bases. I've even done exposed videos back in the day on another YouTuber who kind of took vendoring too far, because you can indeed take it too far to such extremes where it just becomes completely outrageous. Even though that particular YouTuber's fans does not care, I'm actually here to, kind of relay the information that I gathered from that point in time, what I have now, what I've learned since then, and kind of really dive into the process of how it all works and how it could help you, but still that there are risk involved. And I really want to discuss all that with all of you and kind of get your guys' take on the situation, because you guys know that I'm always 100 with you guys on everything we do here on the channel. Non-disclosure, basically, for Anime Impact. But anyways, so as you guys know, I've been playing Dokkan Battle lately. I've been playing Digimon Links, and without these vendors, I would not be able to bring that content to you guys. There would be absolutely no financial way I could bring that type of content to you guys. Now, in Duel Links, I'm well, I guess I can't say fully. I'm a semi-pay-to-play. I only buy the sales every once in a blue moon, as you guys know. And other than that, I'm just hardcore free-to-play grinder, right? But, I've been approached by some people over the course of the past year. Some have been good. Some have had legitimate plans. Some of them have just been very sketchy, so I've avoided a lot of them. I've weeded out quite a bit. I've been in the community discussing different vendors for quite a while now, trying to figure out, ways to determine how you can, kind of figure out if a vendor is a good guy or a bad guy, in a sense, if you want to go hero versus villain type of deal, in terms with that. And so anyway, so I would not be able to play those particular games right now on the channel alongside Duel Links if it wasn't for these vendors providing me promotional deals or discounted deals to allow me to make that content for you guys. Otherwise, that content would completely not be able to be done by myself, because I'm not a big channel. You guys know I'm only like sitting in the 6,000 plus range, and you don't make very much money from YouTube because of that. I am indeed trying to push to go full time, but that is of course a long-term goal that you cannot do in a short-term time. So it's a building process. But anyways, so I've exposed certain people in the past for using vendors that I felt were completely going out of whack. And what I mean by that is there's certain vendors that'll like actually want your personal information, like they want your social security number or something, some crazy drastics like that. There's some that want your PayPal information. There's some people who want your debit, credit card information. And stuff like that is completely crazy. The vendors that you really want to be approached by, if you feel that you really want to buy these things at a discount, and not take as big as a gamble, is you want to approach the people who actually seem to be, more upfront with their services, how they go about it. They can actually speak somewhat legitimate English, and what I mean by that is a lot of the people you'll be dealing with will be, of course, foreign. A lot of them from Asia in particular, because that is where most of these discounts are basically arising from. And we'll go more into that process later on in the video. But I do hope you guys all enjoy the video so far. It's going to be kind of a long-winded one. It's more, like I said, a chill discussion. So just sit back, get some popcorn, and chill, I suppose. But yeah, when you're looking for a vendor, a good vendor, you definitely want them to be upfront with you. You want them to kind of help you, dive into the process of kind of how they're doing it. You definitely want to look at other customers that they've had in the past and see kind of what their testimony is. Like, have they had good service? Do they have an established Facebook page? Do they have many followers on Facebook? Do they have other forms of social media like websites? Do they have a YouTube channel? Do they have Twitter? Do they have a Discord server? Do they have any of these things that tells me that they work well with people, and they work well with a lot of people day to day, in a timely manner? Do they treat the people right? Has there been any forms of scams? Has there been, an overload of people that are very unhappy with the service? Those are the things that you really want to take into account when you're looking for a good vendor, someone who's doing things, more or less the appropriate way, to convince me as a consumer that this is going to work out. This could be a long-term thing. This could be a really good thing for me and, my future, being able to play this game, even as a YouTuber or just a person just playing personally on their own time. This could be a good thing. So those are kind of things you really want to look for. So that, that's like step one to finding a good vendor. Another step would be, are the prices kind of in your range? Do the prices meet your budget? So that's another thing you really want to take into account. Do they seem to have promotional deals? Do they seem to stay current with the in-game prices, with the fluctuation of prices up and down? Are they really do they really care about the game and its community, or do they just care about the money? And you can easily tell that, because if you find a vendor that doesn't even follow the actual in-game progress or the actual in-game prices, and they just stay like status quo with the prices that are just hard locked in for all eternity, then that just tells me that the vendor honestly doesn't care. They're just in there for the quick buck. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it also makes me feel like I can do better. So that's another thing to really look into when you're talking about a good vendor, to kind of help satisfy your addiction to a certain mobile game. Another thing you'd probably want to really take into account, I suppose, is, does the vendor have communication? Does he communicate well? Or is he one of the ones that kind of just float off into space and you'll never hear from them? They'll take your account information and then they'll just deliver it, with your stones or whatever in a day or two. But there's really no direct communications. It's almost as if it's an automated service and you're talking with a robot. That to me doesn't mean necessarily that the vendor's bad. It's just that to me isn't what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more of a personal connection between myself, the person I'm buying from. I really want to know that they care about my needs, my well-being, and they're here to help. That is a big, big factor for me. And this has kind of led me to kind of narrow down some of the vendors that I've associated myself with in the past couple weeks for, Digimon Links and Dokkan Battle, and potentially Duel Links in the very near future, if that's something you guys are honestly interested in. I don't want to bring it to my main section of the channel and you guys not be interested. So, that's kind of some of the fundamentals I'm following right now when I'm discussing, a decent vendor to use. Now let's go quickly go into the good and bad aspects to a vendor. What a bad vendor could do to you and what a good one can do. So let's quickly go to a bad one, and this is more or less along the lines of some of the ones that I've kind of, very, very much disliked in the past and have actually made rant videos about it. And these are the ones that actually do the cashback return scheme. What these vendors are doing is they're actually taking your account, they're loading them with Google Play. They're doing legit transactions. So, Konami, Bandai, they're completely satisfied. excuse me. But here is the problem: they are they're doing chargebacks. They're basically saying, "Oh, we didn't mean to actually pay for that service. Can you please refund our money?" And they're doing that with every single account. And now you have a problem, because now Google will actually, it's not like a blacklist. It's more or less like they put like a warning on your account. You know, like you put your own kind of a watch list, because you're like, okay, so this guy is buying stuff and he's returning it, buying stuff and returning it constantly. So that's not good. You know, Google doesn't like that, because now Google is looking bad. The company that you're buying from for the, you know, the actual game developers are not liking that, because they're now losing money while you're still able to keep your stones, because those don't go away. You still get those. So it's kind of, you know, you get put on more or less a blacklist, I guess you could say, if you've done that several times in a short period of time. So if you're a big spender and you keep going to these vendors constantly, and they keep doing this over and over and over again, then eventually your account's going to get blacklisted and possibly banned, because the vendor is completely being a, you know, excuse my language, a piece of shit. Alright, so another thing that a vendor used to do, especially in the Dokkan Battle community, was dupe stones. They used to take your account, you pay them like 20, 30 bucks, and they would take any stones that you have in your gift box, and they would duplicate them hundreds of times, you know, depending on whatever you paid for. And that, of course, would lead you to getting banned, obviously, because they're actually tweaking the inner workings of a server-side code on a mobile game. So, of course, that will eventually lead you to getting banned. But thankfully, I think Bandai really hit hard on that one, so that is really no longer a thing. It might be in small portions, but nowhere near what it used to be around this time last year and before then. So that's a good thing on Bandai's part there. You know, Konami doesn't really have that problem, but definitely was a big thing in the Dokkan Battle community especially. So that's another form of a bad vendor. Some of them, like I said, we even ask for PayPal information, credit card, debit card information. If they ask you that, just walk away. Those aren't worth your time. Those are just garbage, scum of the earth. Do not even associate yourself with them, even in any kind of literal manner. So those are some forms of the bad vendors. Those are the ones you want to avoid. Like I said, and most of them won't even do the things that I ask for in a vendor that we discussed early on in the video. So more or less, most of those things will come to the surface quite early on, and you'll know to just walk away and ignore that person, completely block them, leave them, whatever. But now let's get to the actual good vendors, the ones who actually do their job and are the ones that actually allow us players, especially who are on a tight budget or really just don't want to sink our entire life savings into a mobile game just to enjoy it, especially if you're a YouTuber. A lot of big YouTubers currently are using vendors. I could probably go through about 20 or 30 YouTubers right off the top of my head if I really wanted to that, you know, do Blazing, they do Dokkan Battle, they do Digimon Links, some who play like Final Fantasy, some who play Brave Souls, you know, Bleach Brave Souls. You know, I could go all day, and there's very, very, very large quantities of players who are fans and subscribers of those YouTubers that also go and use these vendors as well. And these are a very I guess you could say a minuscule or small grouping of vendors that you could actually trust or even give time of day. There's a very small number of them, and they are very hard to find, unless, of course, you go to one of these YouTubers. Well, one, or I guess you could say two, which I've actually found myself, or I've been presented to by hearing their name pop up here and there quite often, you know, amongst the community. These are the good ones. These are the ones that actually make me feel very, very comfortable in my decision to use them, you know, for Dokkan Battle in particular, and of course Digimon Links, stuff like that. You know, because like I said, without them, there'd be no way I could possibly bring that content to you guys on this channel. There's just no way I could financially do it. And I know a lot of you are going to say, well, you know, that just seems wrong. I mean, that's fine. You know, everyone's going to have their personal perspective. That's why we're doing this discussion video. This is why I want to see your guys' actual personal thoughts in the comment section below. And I am almost positive quite a few of you have already heard of vendors. Maybe even some of you have already used them for other mobile games outside of Duel Links. And, you know, the main point of this video is to basically just get everyone's opinion, to go over things, to discuss the concerns, the questions that you may have. You know, and I'm here to try and do my best to help you with all of that. And by no means am I saying you have to use a vendor. You don't. You can use the in-game currency. You can spend money in the game, at the full retail price. That's completely fine. You're supporting the game you love, and you have the right to support it in any way you want. That is perfectly fine. But if you're in a tight spot and you need to really save money and you want your money to go a lot further in the game, then of course you're going to go to a vendor. And I'm just trying to make that transaction for you guys a lot simpler, a lot easier, some things for you to worry about and watch out for. And that's the point of this video. So I'm sorry it's kind of a long-winded video, but I really wanted to dive in here and, make sure I'm discussing as much as I possibly can over the matter. Especially considering I'm asking this question to the main portion of my channel, which of course is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links players. So anyway, back to my point for the good vendors. The good vendors, they will communicate with you. They will guide you step by step. Most of them have teams of resellers. These are the people that go around, find other people who are looking for, for deals, and kind of work as if they're like, I guess you could say they're the middlemen. And what they do is kind of they work in a team. Some of them will create Facebook groups. Some of them will actually create Discords, and those are the ones you really want to go for, because those are the ones who are actually trying to put in an actual legitimate effort to, help establish that, hey, we are real. We're not here to screw you over. We're here to help. This is what we're here to do. And most of them do not receive money compensation, guys. So do keep that in mind as well. Most of them just receive in-game currency because 99.9% of them are more than likely just volunteers. They're just there to help guide you to the vendor, make the transaction, make the process easy, make sure your accounts are all taken care of, make sure you get put in a line, because everyone gets put in a line in a timely manner to get your information through, get your accounts loaded up with whatever service you're requesting to be provided, and just make it all smooth. And what they get paid for in return is just usually just in-game currency, like in-game stones, in-game packs, whatever game that they play. Personally, the vendor will hook them up for helping assist him, because one person going out, or two people, or even a few people going out trying to find all these different customers is very hard to do, because the internet is so vast and is always expanding that you really need a team of people to rely on to help you get things done. And those are the vendors that you really want to go for, the ones who actually have resellers, ones who actually have teams of people who actually communicate with you, guide you through the process, even sometimes even try to get you personal deals that match your budget that they may not even have listed on their price list. And those are the vendors that you really want to focus on. Those are the ones that really drive it home for me, and the ones that really make me feel like, okay, this could be a long-term thing, this could be a really good thing, this could really help a lot of players out. So with all that said, that's more or less the gist of the good and the bad. What most of these vendors do, the ones that are actually not the corrupt pieces of shit that really just want to steal your credit card information, PayPal information, these are the ones that basically what they're doing is they're getting bundled. They're basically buying in bulk, wholesale, Google Play cards in their own country, which is more than likely Asia, Philippines, Singapore, stuff like that. And what they're basically doing is they're buying at a very, very high discount because they're buying in bulk wholesale, and then they're allowed to use those Google Play cards inside of your account, paying the full premium, the full retail price, but in your currency, using their region's Google Play card. So there's a big discounted price there. So from Bandai's standpoint, or even Konami's standpoint, you're actually paying the full price for the in-game currency. You're not getting an in-game currency discount. You're getting your discount from the vendor because he's got a big discount from buying the wholesale bulk Google Play cards. And then what they do is after they bought up all the Google Play cards, they will go and restock, and they just continue that process, ongoing, repeatedly over and over and over again. If the lines get too full, most of them will have the resellers notify all of their consumers or buyers that, hey, the lines are closed for, say, 24 hours, 48 hours. You'll have to wait to place your order because, the lines are too full right now. They're getting overwhelmed. And that happens generally often. So you got to sometimes be patient with the resellers or the vendor. And you always want to look out for deals. Sometimes when there's a big event going on in the game, or if there's like Christmas or New Year's or Halloween or Easter or something like that, sometimes they will have sales for that as well, like a bigger discount to try and bring up more people. Because at the end of the day, they're businessmen, they're entrepreneurs, they're trying to make a living just like you guys are, except they're also providing you with a service that can really help you have more longevity in your gameplay experience because you are now spending half as what you normally would, if not more, to play the game that you love. And yes, there is risk involved. I'm not going to deny the fact there is definitely risk involved. There's risk involved in all kinds of things. Um, a lot of you are probably thinking, okay, there's a terms of service issue, but we've went into the terms of service issue on this channel already. And from Bandai's standpoint, it doesn't seem as though they care, because they're very well aware of the vendors. And there's even some speculation that some of these vendors actually work for or are very much affiliated with Bandai, Namco, Konami, stuff like that, because of their close ties and relationships, and the fact that they're more or less designed and built solely for mobile games in the first place. So there's definitely a lot of relativity there that you really just can't ignore. But yeah, I just kind of want to go in. I wanted to dive in, get your guys' perspective. A lot of you may already know how the process works. A lot of you may be using a vendor today. You guys may know the whole setup, the whole shindig, whatever you want to call it. You guys may be having great experiences. Some of you may have had bad experiences. I just wanted to kind of have a pretty long discussion video discussing my personal thoughts, my personal research, the things I've kind of done, because you guys know I'm 100 with you guys on the channel. We've been like that since day one. And I just wanted to get your take. I mean, would you guys mind seeing, a vendor that could provide all of you guys, my my impact players on Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, a very huge discount? Like, would you mind seeing something like that or not? I definitely want to get your guys' take on the the comment section below. No hate, guys. There's no hate here. I'm not gonna be critical of any of your guys' opinion as well. Some of you may like the idea. Some of you may absolutely hate it. That's perfectly fine. That's why we have these discussion videos. I really want to get your guys' opinion. I will continue to keep using my vendor, though, to bring you guys the Dokkan Battle videos, because that is a much smaller portion to my channel. But before I did anything drastic like that on my Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links side of things, I really wanted to make this video. So I hope you guys all enjoy. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, the discussion, the topic. Hopefully I enlightened some people. Gave you guys a new lease on life, per se, of the whole thing. Because I know vendors got a lot of bad rep, especially from me personally way back when the only ones that I've actually known about or were attempted to be associated with were just completely wrong. They were just wrong for me. They were wrong for the community. And, I kind of went on a tantrum about that. And some of you are definitely well aware of that. But I wanted to kind of bring my new perspective, my new light to it, to hopefully enlighten you guys some as well. But anyways, hope you guys all enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys want it, let me know. We'll try to make that happen. I'll try to keep working on that to get that working. If we do get a vendor, it will be for 50% or more off. I'll try to get the vendor himself, or at least some of the reselling team, in our Discord so you guys can ask them questions directly, And if there's any kind of wrongdoing, if the process does go through and I find out about it, we will shut that shit down immediately. You guys know that. So anyways, hope you guys all have a great one. Have a great morning, great afternoon, because it is 5 a.m. for me right now making this video, and I'm dead tired. But hey, got to keep on keeping on, right, guys? So until next time, peace.